everything's okay, and let's start. So today we are gonna continue like like last 2 Zoom calls, and we're gonna finish March 2024. And yeah, I think it was the first month that it was more challenging in terms of frequency of trades, and it wasn't also not that winning. It was not that winning as other months. So yeah, let's go. Well, obviously, let's start with high time frame. Wait, what? How do I turn off Zoom? Turn off Zoom. Let's start with high time frame. So again, you start with H4 or daily. So daily would be fine, I guess, for now. And now we are sweeping this. I think we have a bullish reversal. I mean, it does not matter now, like what this one is coming from. If you're already in mid move, like analyzing this doesn't help you in any way, right? Because you only analyze the reversal when you're about to take a trade. But you can analyze it to see which point is weaker. Like, let's say, let's start with the high first. So the high is obviously reacting to a trap. Why is it a trap? Well, it's a PY from the left, right? So it's a contextual trap. The PY itself also doesn't have any liquidity, and we also did not create any liquidity. So obviously, all these points in future are gonna be taken out. And this is the only thing that you need to know right now. Like, even if this buy is not that good and the sell is not that good, your mission is just to find out which one's gonna be taken out first, right? So we decided based on what's happening here, based on the current price action. And on H4, we just look at this extreme. We even had a double sweep, which is a bit uncommon. Seeing this as equal lows would be technically wrong because the reversal will be here. But some of you did it. It's not completely wrong, but just in theory. So we might be bullish already, but we cannot know just from the current price action. So we go to M15 to see what's happening. On M15, we had a big break of structure up, another break of structure up, like obviously showing bullish intention. And then we had something like PDC, or we even had a PDC, which was taken here. And then we had a high time for PDC taken here during news, probably. So again, everything is pointing at bullishness, right? So I'm gonna skip this day. I think we finished this in the last call. Well, since you're bullish, since this high is a trap, it would also mean that everything below here is a trap and will be taken out. So for example, you remember when price mitigated this PY, right? It will now become a trap. This high will also become a trap. So let's play it out first. Okay, Asia. Okay, so we have Asia high low, nothing's happening. We are not really planning to sell here. This would be like our first major break of structure up to the upside. We don't want to sell. And again, it would be completely against the bias. So selling doesn't make sense. What would make more sense in this case is, again, wait for some pullback or some manipulations to take a trade. Okay, so we did take Asia high. What time is this? London open. We react to the nearest high. Okay. Okay, we can go to M5. Even if we try to take a trade, it would be a mistrade. So there's nothing bad, nothing to feel bad about. Then we took our Asia low. Asia low cannot be the same as a level, but if you wanted to take a trade with a different entry model, let's say, then you could have done this. Let's say this high is reacting to a trap. Okay, let's see what it is reacting to exactly. Okay, so it's just reacting to this high. It could be a build-up trap in theory, but I don't like the fact that it was mitigated deeply, right? When you have a build-up trap, it should be left unmitigated, like it should leave some momentum and it should be untouched. So the level that we are reacting to is not really good. On H1, we can say this is a continuation Ayush, right? So bullish candle, H1 structure, H1 objective structure, H1 bullish candle, and this would simply mean that we can take a trade anywhere from here, but it's not an Arcos. I'm just gonna skip it. Okay, what happened after? Nothing, here, nothing. Again, we're reacting to nothing. There's nothing here. Now we are just taking a high, we're just breaking a random high, or we're just taking out a random structural point. But again, that does not mean that we have to sell, right? If, as I said, if we break a height of our structure, it should line up with another level, or that level has to be a significant level, but it's neither. We don't have anything here, and this high is not significant. So we can just skip that. Let's see what happens after. Okay, so we have a build-up. A high reversed without anything. I would see this more as a bullish manipulation than an F-boss for a sell. So like even if you see this as PB, it's not enough, right? The level that we're trading from is not enough. Even if it sells, you're gonna catch a buy later. So let's see. Asia low. Asia low is created. We created a mini FOS here on F15 going Asia. That's interesting. Then we swept the trap. So the trap gave you an FOS up, inducement down. Let's check H1. Okay, I wouldn't see this as an important H1 level to take an arbos from, but if you want to mix timeframes, let's say you have a good information on F15 that also lines up on H1, you can try a trade. It's a bit more risky. It's not the most correct thing to do, but you can. So let's say you can even have an arbos here, like Asia low, a trap, H1. Let's say we can even say H1 extreme, M5, arbos, and then just try a buy like this. Okay, so the post would be here. TP, would this be enough? Probably. This would be a good TP. If you want to swing, that is also good. But if we zoom out, we see that the buildup was not really induced. Like the only thing we had was a structural inducement. And when it comes to the buildup, it's still bearish, right? Like there's no clear breakout or anything like that. That makes this less probable to swing, but it's still worth a try, I guess. So let's see what happens. Okay, so that's a stop loss. Well, let's go back to M15 to see what happened. Here we are taking out the extreme. So that's nice. We don't have any momentum inducement or anything like that, right? So this would be the current buildup. We don't have any PB for a buy. We are just taking out extreme. This could be a PDC. Again, a little reaction, and you can enter a PDC rejection trade. That's right after a stop loss, so I wouldn't recommend it right away. Yeah. Okay. Now we have a breakout from the trend line, a major breakout structure. You can go to M15 to see, or H1 to see. It could be an H1 FBOS or an RBOS. In this case, it's really hard to say. Let's see. Okay. Oh, it's taking out extreme again. Okay, and then it was taken out. So, like, if someone tried to take a buy, let's say from the rejection, a buy like this, it would be completely valid, but it would end up in a loss, unfortunately, right? So this was completely valid, and then you had H1 PB. So you had an FBOS, an inducement. You're still mitigating the low. That's also fine. So you're mitigating this low. Make sure that this low is something valid. So we create a strong low. We're mitigating that strong low. It could be an order flow POI, right? As long as we're not really selling from something major. And this would have been a missed trade, I think, even. Yeah, you have news, so you definitely don't want to trade this. But what you can do is the next day, you can just take a mitigation of the same POI. There's nothing wrong with that. So you can just draw the POI like this. Price continues higher. Takes out extreme of the range. But it's not a nice one. It's just a trap. So yeah, there's no sell here, unfortunately. It's London close, but you also don't have trending sessions. So let's see. Oh, nothing. Then it's too late. Okay. Yeah. So you could have even left a buy limit from the previous day, just on the PY. That would be a valid setup also, not an RBOS though. So you can do this. Let's see what happened after Asia. But here we trade this day. There's nothing to really do. We could force more trades. That goes with order flow. So let's say you can take mitigation still also. There's no sell definitely, so you're not gonna sell from a trap. This becomes a reactional trap. Yeah, let's just see what happens. I don't think there was anything either. With objective structure, you could have had a continuational setup with a rebalance. So that's interesting. But taking a trade this high seems risky to me. If I took it this trade in life, it would be half risk definitely. And after a break of structure, you cancel it probably and wait for something better. So again, we just broke a high time frame range. Nothing happened, reacting to nothing again, except for a trap. Then price came down. You had a possible continuation setup. Now the question is if it's a good idea to take a continuation setup like this right after breaking the structure. But you see, if you're building up the whole time, the more price builds up, the more likely, I mean, the closer you are to the explosion, to the momentum. So if I saw this in live, I would probably think that price might explode soon. If it fails, then it's probably not gonna even mitigate anymore, and it will go lower. Then you take a liquidity sweep trade. But I think it will be worth a try, definitely. M15, on M15 we have objective structure. It's following all the rules, right? So you're just sweeping the last structural low. We're not sweeping more structural lows, which could invalidate the setup. And now, let's say, with this stop hunt, with this F was down, you can even try to get a mitigation like this from a PY, and it would definitely be a valid trade. TP could be the nearest trap, but when you see trap stacked like this, it's probably gonna just shoot through it. We saw it last week also in the live market. So like putting a TP here is it's not even risky. I'll just put a break even after 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, let's see. Should get tucked in. Oh, okay, good news. After this, I will probably break even. And bam, and you had another continuation setup even after that. So first of all, you have to make sure that you're not reacting to something important. You're still within the huge trap, but you just broke this daily, weekly high, which could push price a bit lower. But if you don't mind that, if you're crazy with continuations, this would also be a valid setup. Like bullish candle, again, it would be a riskier trade. I'd risk less than 0.5%. I mean, less than half of my usual risk. And again, you can refine. So bullish candle, refine it a bit, put in 5, here on the FVG, for example, and you have a nice continuation setup. Okay, let's see. So price took out a trap. What time is that? 4:30. Both sessions are trending. Okay. And now, before I would look for a short, I would make sure that there's nothing weird above. Like, we all know that this could be a high resistance liquidity point, a trap being taken out. But before we short here, we have to make sure that, it's not equal highs, for example, or it's not something weird right above it. So let's see. On H1, most of the time you won't see really much. So I would definitely see this as a PY that was mitigated, right? Like, yeah, if I traded this, I would prefer this to be taken out also. And then above this, there's nothing to really trade. But if price really just reacts in the middle of these two, between these two, then you could have a trade. You could try a trade here, definitely. 5, it blast through it, so unlucky. There's no trade. And now, as you said, this just equal highs, so it's not really a good level. This would be break and retest liquidity. Oh no, this wouldn't be break and retest. Okay, this would just be a strong high from the left. So it should become a trap for now. And let's see. Let's see what happens. 5. Okay. So we have London close. Okay. H1. We are taking extreme of H1, but I know this was really fast. So we can go to M15 to see what's happening. Yeah, okay now. You're just taking extreme of a random point, of a random structural point. It's nothing important. Let's see. Nothing is happening. Well, we don't really want to buy like this right now after taking out so many daily structural points. But we also don't want to sell because we are selling from a trap, right? So this is the case. You see big momentum, you're in the middle of nowhere. You just wait. Wait for more information for a better trade. Okay. So you see how price reverses, right? You just have a breaker structure. You don't have a PDC. You don't have PB. You don't have anything, right? Price just mitigates. And even while mitigating, it does not really require any liquidity. Like it does not take any specific liquidity points. What this means is that we are just building up buy side liquidity for later to be taken out, but we're not going to force a trade. So would we take a buy here? We have Asia low and this structure low. Okay, it doesn't look that great because of lack of liquidity. This could be like some H1 FVG fill, but you know how weak those are, right? So it's always better to wait for some better liquidity points here. And this low is also not significant. It didn't break structure, it didn't do anything. So like in theory, we are just making a bigger structure down, and you don't want to buy that. Let's see what happens. Okay, price does buy a bit. This would become a random POI or a trap. It doesn't really matter. We would not trade that. Okay, we have big news. Is it news? We have big news down at 2. And then we had, okay, what's this? And then we had another news. So we have New York timing. Okay, this was a bit weird, this price action. When I traded this live 1 year ago, I was waiting for this to be taken out, but price took out this extreme and then it reversed, right? Like it gave you an M1 breaker structure. But I don't think, I mean, I think this is a weird trade, like a really weird trade. I'd prefer if you guys did not try trades like this and waited for a proper level. But if you took it, it's not entirely wrong. As long as you can justify, this low holding or this extreme being good for some reason. Equal lows, a trap, for example, with, I don't know, momentum liquidity. I mean, no, we don't even have momentum inducement to that. So it's just a trap and extreme in one, right? And you had timing perfectly with that or a big rejection with that, then maybe it would make sense to take it. But like when I see this, it's even in hindsight, it looks really risky. It looks really ugly, but it worked out. So yeah. Still, if you're in a trap, we should expect the trap to be taken out. We're definitely not gonna sell here. It's just a random high. It's just breaking up. So let's see. Can go to M5. Remember that there's news here. So all the price action from now will be accelerated. You can stay on M5 to just to see the momentum, As long as it's running like this, you know that the news are still affecting the price. So this is what we would normally see on M15 actually, or H1. But it's happening so fast though. Okay. Let's not stick to the lower time frames too much. Let's go to high time frame and see. So right now, there's no tradable levels. We go to daily. Okay, so the trap did not sell, I think. Right? Yeah. So the sell from the trap here failed. We did not have both London and New York in the same direction. So we would end the day like at 3 p.m., at 4 p.m. We end it here right after New York. There's no valid arbos here for sure. But let's just go to daily again. Let's see, clear out the levels. So we could definitely see these as equal lows. Yeah, what I just did was checking if this one was mitigated or filled, but no. So it could be a nice POI, a nice untapped POI for smart money traders, and then it would become a trap with equal highs, right? We had a reversal here. So this is obviously a bullish leg, this is a bearish leg. So it's a context trap with subjective liquidity. I guess that's all you really need to know in this case. Obviously, we're not gonna sell anytime soon. We don't have any confluence on high time frame that would tell us that we're bearish, right? Like we didn't even make an F post, nothing like that. We're just breaking up like this, so there's no reason to sell. We're inside a trap, so obviously we would hope for a reaction, for a buy. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, we can go to F15 to analyze this price action before we continue. But there's nothing really clear. What I would be looking for is maybe some liquidity levels that could be clean, but no. Okay, this seems like significant structure that looks more important than this below, since it's a strong low. You can use it as M15 structure. Okay, it is M15 structure, but except for that, there's nothing, or even H1 structure. Okay, let's see what Asia did. Nothing. We're still reacting to a trap. We are really overextended. Like you see, because of this momentum, there's no price action to really trade here, right? Mm, yeah, like if this happens, then there's nothing to do. If you short, it sucks because there's nothing to really target in this bunch of structures, right? And if you're long, there's not many levels to long from. Maybe a rebalance like this could be fine. I'm thinking if this could be an ALQ or not. It looks really ugly. Yeah, it looks really ugly. Like I wouldn't try anything here. The high resistance liquidity looks fine though. So let's see. Okay, Asia's a bit far. It's almost double the Asian range. And we are taking the high resistance liquidity. From the backtest, I've seen some of you did try to take this trade. And I don't think there's essentially anything wrong with this. So let's do that. Asia, H1 liquidity, 15 high resistance. It could be even seen as H1 high resistance because of the news. So yeah, but it would end up with a stop loss. Okay. Should we re-enter? If you re-enter, you should make sure that you have another good level that you're trading from. In this case, you're still in the same level, which makes it a bit more tricky. This would be the invalidation point for the level. But yeah, taking a re-entry right away like that. You did have a bullish candle if you wanted to use PP, but that bullish candle was taken out. So yeah, there's no good re-entry. What would be the entry model for high resistance liquidity? No, nothing. This would just be an RBOS. A shallow with high resistance liquidity. And you treat it as a reversal. Okay, whether Asia is far or not is really subjective, but I think this is still fine. But for example, this is not fine. But we don't have any specific rule for that. We could fix that in future. But like for me, if it's let's say triple the range or 2.5 times bigger than the range, then it starts being big, too big. Let's see what happened. Okay, news happened. So we had a new slow. New slow stopped out the ALQ. Plus, it filled some FEG. Let's check H4. So nothing on H4. So it just happened to some H1 FEG for a continuation. But on M1, it was too fast. So it was just a sell to buy. And we did not have any structures. There was no real way to really enter this trade. So nothing to do there. Then we took out a trap. Now you go to daily and you make sure that you are reacting to this trap and nothing else, right? So the next structure we have could be here, let's say on H4, or this would be a daily invalidation level. So like if it takes this wick, for example, you have to zoom in and check what this wick is, right? If it's some other level or not. But right now, we are still in our valid zone. So from here to here. uh, okay. So we did sweep it once, but we did not have an RBOS. Thank God. Otherwise, it would be a stop loss. And then we had a break of structure here. So first break of structure is here. And entry can be anywhere, let's say from here to here, anywhere from here to here, as long as stop loss is above, right? That would be a really safe trade. So let's go. We also have New York timing. So the level was daily trap, New York timing. Is there any target? Does it make sense to even short? So now if you remember the previous price action, the previous days, this reversal was weird. We all knew that it was weird. It did not break structure, anything. It's just equal lows. The way it reversed is also shitty. So that's good to note. These equal lows, there's nothing particularly weak about them. So I don't think that's a confluence really, but let's say if you short, the target could be here. This could be seen as an FBOS, definitely, as an H1 FBOS. Stop hunt into the daily trap with news. So that's completely fine too. So we do have VB and a daily level and a good daily level, good liquidity level. This could be a huge short. Nothing really happened. We should be bearish now, making this a context trap. But it's too late, so let's skip this. Mm, there's nothing really happening. Let's skip Asia. Okay, so now we have ALQ with Asia high. Could we take an RBOS here? Yeah, we could. We definitely could. A better trade would be a double sweep, an RBOS with a double sweep. But oh wait, we have to check if. Okay, no. It's not a good. It's not a good trade. Never mind. You have to make sure also that the level is visible on H1, and the highest point on H1 would be Asia high. So it would not be the best thing. If you want to execute a trade, though, then there's no RBOS here. Maybe with some level above, let's say the trap here. But for now, there's nothing, right? And the only way to execute a trade is using different entry models. So we have first sweep. The equal highs are on M15. We have a second sweep on F15. Bam, right? Use this as a POI. Just drop a limit there. Okay, even this is fine. 4 pips. TP could be the mitigation of the trap if you're scared, or a bit lower, or even the key break of structure. You can type in. Not really sure what's happening with the candles here. Okay. And bam. Okay. Nice double sweep. Now, since this is a key boss, you definitely don't want to buy, right? Same thing as in the breakdown videos. You're just starting a reversal. You don't want to buy into the reversal. So some of you did take this as a liquidity point. I don't know why, but it's not a valid loss if you get a loss here. This rebalance though was also interesting. So we have New York timing. I don't really like the trade, but if you tried a rebalance and liquidity, so the rebalance as a level and this liquidity as liquidity for the rebalance, then the RBOS would be valid. But I don't like it because we only use rebalance pro trend, and now we are obviously reversing, right? So not the best trade. If I traded this live, I would prefer to skip this than taking it. But yeah, you have a nice break structure here. Some refinement, let's say M15 block would be nice too. Refinement is too big, 5 pips, and TP could be anything that was built here, but not the best trade. Now it's Asia. Let's get Asia fast. So this is where all the momentum came from. Keep that in mind. Go to H1 to see. I just delete this. On H1, it will look sexy. I'll just mark it out to see what will happen. Asia. We did have this PB on M15, but obviously if we're inside the trap, it's not the best thing. Oh, wait. Uh, oh yeah, today's daylight saving. Thanks for telling me. But if you're backtesting and you don't pay attention, you just use the news to navigate. So like whenever there's big news, CPI, NFP, then you just use those as your timing, right? So when it's daylight saving, what changes is New York timing, but London close stays the same for Europeans, of course. So yeah, let's see. And Asia, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Asia should move a bit. Let's see. Midnight, midnight. Okay. Yeah, and Asia is the same for now. Nothing changed. Nothing really changing. 14, 8, 2, yeah. Okay. So we did have an F15 PB, FBOS inducement, but we're inside the trap. Not a good trade, obviously. Then we have even a bigger big breaker structure. So this whole thing, this whole break to the downside, you would see as a breaker structure, as a trend line break to the downside, creating relevant liquidity right above. And then we have news. So let's see what happened during news. Okay. The news did sell from the trap, then it went up and stopped the trap. Okay, so now we have news timing, trap sweep. M1 breaker structure would be nice. Yeah, so I hope it broke and came back. There was a possible entry like that if it did. If not, you refine it and you wait for a limit like this. So let's see. TP could be the nearest structural point. Looks fine. 5. M1. Oh yeah, bam. Nice. So on M1, you'd get tucked in, and it's a nice 1 to 5. Bam. Okay. There's no really good level on the left though. It's by daily. Yeah, there's no daily FEG. On H4, what's happening on H4? Oh, we could be filling a gap. We are definitely sweeping this trap. But I don't, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend a trade from here at all. So we did not even fill the gap. The trap is nice, but it doesn't seem big. There's nothing. There's no other additional confluence to this. Make it so bad. So if someone took a buy here, I don't think it's a good idea. But let's see. Hmm. Okay, let's just see what happens. Asia created structure. High, low, high. Okay. Then we set Asia low. That also happened to be a key boss. Yeah, I don't think a buy from here is a good idea. And yeah, a sell is also not a good idea. So in this case, you just wait. The context is not really clear where you are exactly. Like obviously we're reversing bearish, but from this point, I don't think it's that clear if we should expect a pullback up or down. But I think if someone tried to, let's say, take a mitigation of this, then it's not entirely wrong. Like let's say someone attempted to they refine the PY and they try to take a direct entry, just follow the order flow. The downside, this low had liquidity. I mean, this high had liquidity, this high also had liquidity. Like there's no reason to not try this trade. But it was a stop loss, unfortunately. So let's change this into a trap. Uh, let's go to H1 first. So this is key boss. This is the second breaker structure, second real breaker structure to the downside. This is obviously equal highs. We have a trap right above equal highs. Now we are taking out an extreme of a random range. It's not even timing. So there's nothing great about it. We don't have any entry model even. So we can skip that. Let's see what M15 does. Also nothing. Okay, let's just skip this whole price action. We have a rebalance. We should be bullish since this reversal was really weird. Okay, then we took it out. We also took out a trap and even, oh yeah, so then we took out an H1 trap. The invalidation point should be somewhere here. And yeah, let's see, what time is it? London close. We have London close. Both sessions were going in the same direction. So London Open was here, New York Open was somewhere here. So both are obviously bullish. You had a break of structure, and I'll just try to refine the trade somehow. I'll put it here and have a TP on the shit low that we just created, or even a swing to the equal lows. So this was the original idea, to sell from the highest point. It never came back. If this one failed, I would actually even try to take that. But yeah, the TP for any swing is these equal lows, the nearest weak level that we have. But it didn't tag us in. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're either in a sell or not based on your refinement. This would be the only way to get in. But this is 7 pips. Okay, 7 pips is actually not too bad. So congrats if you got it. And after this point, so we have a good level, we have good PB. We even had some crazy PD, right? So the delivery starts here from here to here. And you see we create all this liquidity and we took it out with a trap. Like it will probably melt soon with the amount of liquidity that we already accumulated. So there's definitely no buy here or any place here. And there's this BTC. No, that's you have to realize that all this price action from here to here is created with news. Like you don't want to analyze this on daily. It's like analyzing on a weekly time frame. Doesn't help much. H1 is ideal actually. Even H4, but H1 would be the best time frame to trade here. The continuation was a bit weird, so there's nothing. There was nothing. There was no airball setup either. This I would see as another break of structure. We don't want to buy this. Doesn't make sense. And yeah. Hamza. Uh, oh, but we don't trade M3. Okay, let's continue fast. Well, since we broke structure here and we don't have any level close by, you should never even try a buy like inside this range. I know it seems like a lot. It's like 30 pips on you, but in worst case, it's just gonna be 1 or 2 days. It's not that crazy. So you just play this out. You just play this, see what happens. This is obviously a trap. It's a PY without any liquidity. It's the reversal is shitty. We have equal strike below. And it's against the trend also. So we can skip this until we take it out. Okay, now we are reacting to a trap. What I saw, one common loss people took was this. Like some people try to, I don't know, see this as Asia high and this as ALQ, and then take a short here. But obviously, if you have a rebalance right above like this for a swing, it's better. And H1 level is usually not enough for a swing target, right? To target a low. So even if you took it, it's not really wrong. There's nothing wrong with the execution, but the most common mistake was the target. Like everyone tried to target this. But rule number one that we have is we only swing targets if it's an H4 level when it comes to RBOS, right? So M5, get some break of structure eventually here. I don't know. I don't even know how they took it. Yeah. So you had to break a structure, some mitigation, and you should target something close, like in the best case, you should target this or this. That's a bit worse. It's high risk and slow. It's probably a trap. But since price is not ready to sell yet, probably uh targeting a trap is not the best idea also, right? Price could just mitigate it. But yeah, there was a mini short like this. Yeah, oh my, it might even mitigate this. It's perfect. Let's see if it takes up a trap also. Okay, we have Asia. Yeah, like you see, that's what I'm talking about. You don't want to maximize your target in these cases. In these cases, if you have a short or any trade in any direction, and you know that trade is not ready, like that it's too early, that we don't have enough liquidity, that we don't have a major level, you should just target the safest thing, not try to maximize the profit. Right? You can maximize profits on trades like this when you have completely everything. You can hold it for, I don't know, for 2 months if you want to. But if you catch a trade like this, then if you see a trap, you should just close it on the trap, on the mitigation of the trap. Yeah, price continues. We have Asia high. What is this? 10 pips, 10 pips, not too bad. We could still say that we have Asia high with this. Then you had this as a liquidity level. So previously high. Remember that we are not trading the liquidity level, but the rebalance. Okay. So I saw some people, yeah, on Discord, I saw someone telling me that we had a short like this and they said that we have this high has liquidity, but obviously it does not, right? We are shorting only because of the rebalance. But in future, the high becomes weak because of the amount of liquidity we have. There's no PB and there is no relevant level, no relevant liquidity point. It should be, first of all, it should be from the left. So the liquidity level should be here if you want to count it. And second, we should have PB with that too. So yeah, Asia high, rebalance. Oh, and 5 breaker structure. How big is this? 4 pips. I would even execute it like this without refinement. That's fine too. But if you refine it, you would have a crazy trade. Yeah, but this is enough. Let me just check M5 again. Yeah, so we had a clear break of structure. Now, since this reacted to a trap, to a strong low right here, it's going to be taken out for sure this time. If you want the safest TP, it could be the trap this time. If you want to maximize your profit, equal lows on high time frame would be the best. So let's see. Okay, nothing. Rebalance would be here. If it wanted to come back, it should be the last structural range. You had a continuation setup here on F15 also. So that's definitely worth a try. So same trade, but you should have some break-even protocol if you want to take this trade, and yeah, bam, that's it. Right? Then you have London close. So obviously, London wasn't really bearish at the beginning. Yeah, I wouldn't even use London close here. And one more thing, we are just using equal lows, so not a really great trading level. Okay, let's see. So London and New York are not trending in the same direction, and we are not taking a good level. And you cannot say we are taking out the trap. The trap was this PY, right? But right after this PY, we have another structural point. So this would be an invalidation point, and that would make this all equal lows. Okay, let's see. So some of you attempted a buy here, but it was easily avoidable. Like you can clearly see how bad the trade was if you take a buy like this. It's tempting because, I know that we just created a weak high. It's tempting because of that, but the level itself is not really great for such trades. Oh, it did even come back a bit. Yeah, and then it failed. So there was nothing here. Asia just ended. Some of you saw this as a double sweep. Now that makes it less wrong. With Asia low, with a double sweep like this, I think a buy is not wrong. It's not entirely wrong, and it was even valid. So you had a break structure, Asia low, a second sweep of equal lows. Go to M15. Target this would be fine. If you want something safer and you're not confident, this would also be fine. But it ended with a loss. So nothing. Now, if you see price moving this far away from the lows, then we're obviously not reacting to this liquidity anymore. And now you should look for something new, right? So this is obviously a build-up. You have a trap, a build-up trap. Maybe a reaction from that would be nice. But then we went right through the trap. And what time is this? 10. So there's no timing. There's no arbor trade. You can skip this. You can skip this price action. The structure. Well, obviously, like same thing. We are trading right after big momentum. You're in some weird level. So you just want to let price play out a bit. You can take a rest day. You can skip 1 or 2 days, wait for something to happen before looking for another trade. One interesting thing here was that the price actually took out a high resistance liquidity point right here. And then it gave a reaction. Right, so it did not take anything else. Invalidation point would be here.
Marlon.
Oh, holy shit.
Oh,
You're so loud, bro.
yes?
I got scared. Bro, I got scared.
Oh, crazy. One question.
Yeah?
Is it loud?
No, just ask, bro.
You don't see it as equal lows?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I would not recommend trading this because it's equal lows. This is just a fun fact, okay? That it reacted to this. But I think I've seen this only once in my whole trading career. Price respecting this like this, respecting the low like this in a bunch of equal lows. But yeah, let's skip this. Okay, we have an H1 trap, a momentum trap. Shorting would not really be a good option either because price should go higher. So now you're stuck in between two points again. This is the worst price action to trade. Let's see. We took out Asia high with that trap. Okay, H1. So we are still reacting to this trap. We took out Asia high. Like there was some low quality arbos, low probability arbos, right? So the break structure will be here. Price comes back, you can take a mitigation. But yeah, if I took this, I don't even know if I would took this in live market. Okay, now price continued lower. It took out extreme. It took out PDC. That could give a reaction. But again, you're stuck in between 2 weak points. Like there's nothing to do here. Right? Price could obviously not be ready to sell because the liquidity is shit. This one is also shit. Like these sells are really shit. But the buy level was also shit. Like, yeah, just keep this price action, man. The PDC was interesting. The low was created. Oh no, the low was not created with timing either. So yeah, I would not recommend taking this trade either. Just wait, just give this whole thing. You have momentum up. Go to daily. Daily could be an MVG fill, but I think it went way past it. Let's go to H4. On H4, we are taking out momentum liquidity, which could be a bit more interesting. So the momentum liquidity was this, but as you said, it should not be a singular level. We should have something added to that. So let's skip Asia fast. Oh, okay, I skipped everything, my bad. Don't backtest like this when you are alone. But yeah, we took out Asia. And again, if you zoom in here, this would be like the last pullback before the explosion that we are taking. But I don't think it's a good level. I don't think it's a good trade either. So if someone took it, like you should be aware that it's a low probability trade, that it's a risky trade. Andrea, what is a PDCPY? But yeah, the level is shit. You just said Asia. If you took this, like it really looks tempting. It does everything lines up well. The only thing bad about this is the level. If I took this live, again, it would just be half risk. Not that great of a trade. And then there was nothing this day. So there's no price action here to trade with. We just have a weak low. So like anything after this, whatever happens after this, you'll just be looking for continuation sells. But yeah. What time is this? 3 a.m. Yeah, there's no trade. So Asia, we took out the week low. It could again be a breaker structure, like it clearly looks like a breaker structure now. We don't want to trade that. And the nearest ALQ we have is this. So this would be like equal lows. It could be worth a try. And if it fails, then obviously all of this will fail, right? So this buy was also bad. We had a PDC after. We're just making equal lows. Like I'll just see this whole bunch as equal lows. Yeah, we can go to H4 to see. This is obviously equal lows. This would be the ALQ, the high time frame ALQ. Let's see. F5. Okay, so if someone took a buy here, it was valid. It wasn't bad. Other problem with this is that you are selling against so much sell pressure, and there's no real target right? Like all these highs are gonna hold obviously until we take out the next major high time frame point. Yeah, there's just no real target to trade. Like we could hope for a pullback, but pullback to where? Maybe here. Not this, yeah, and it would be a stop loss. So like if we want to look at things objectively here, we had a level, we had everything an arbos requires, but this would be the subjective part of analysis where you can like see that something will just will fail completely. Some guys asking, shouldn't we have waited for a double sweep? If you trade LQ with an arbos, you can take it right straight away. You don't have to wait for a double sweep. Only difference is with a double sweep, you can swing a TP. With a singular sweep, you just target something, you know, something safe, and price will usually do this. Sweep it again and then go. Okay, so this failed. Now the question is if you're double sweeping this or if you're reacting to a trap. I'd prefer if it was a trap, seeing how deep you went already. Okay, so there's nothing. Let's see H1. Also nothing, just a structural high. I mean, just a structural low and high. So we can skip this whole price action even. Friday. Yeah, let's see what Asia did. Nothing much. So we are still reacting to a trap. So we would not be looking for buys, but rather for sells. And is there any good any good sell from here? Okay. Yeah, okay. Like this whole time we are looking for an under setup, obviously. We are trying to target these equal lows. But now your mission is to guess, to kind of predict the magnitude of this trade or of this reversal, right? So there's two ways to do. I mean, there's one way to do it. I think the best way to do it is just to look at how big the trap, the thing you're reacting to is. Let's say if this was only visible in H1, it would be the reaction would be smaller. But now we are reacting to a huge daily trap. I mean, huge H4 trap. So the reaction might be even bigger. And another thing is the distance, like how far to the left it is, the bigger it is, basically. So now, would a short here be valid? I think it would be. It looks like a loss, but it would be valid. So it would be an H4 F pos up with timing. And this looks like the only liquidity level that really makes sense. The next one we have. Oh, okay. Not really sure about this. The next one we have would be here. But yeah, let's see. Yeah. So it would be an instant stop loss. 2, 15, 2. Okay. Then you'd have a re-entry. I don't know about that. Yeah, but even if you took 2 losses here, it would be completely valid. There's nothing you can really do. There's nothing you can really do about this. Yeah, let's see what happens here. Asia high. We are somehow building up. Yeah, not like this. This more. We have a momentum inducement without any timing, without anything, into what should be a trap. But one thing is that you have to also evaluate where you are within the move already, right? Like, for example, if we had the same thing happening, I don't know, let's say here, I'll definitely wait for the trap to be taken out. But the later you are in the move, the more liquidity you sweep, right? And you see like this whole move on, if you analyze H1, was really healthy. Like every single move here had a lot of liquidity, had a good reversal, right? So like at this point, in time, you don't really need more liquidity in this case, and there is a higher chance of price making mitigations. It's not even random anymore. Like there is a significant chance that price just gonna take mitigations, not far more liquidity. It's not really needed anymore. Like it's the same thing as, I don't know, here. Or like you see, okay, this is the worst example. I'll just go to the moves in the market after this call and check it out. So like it could be a mitigation. What I'm saying is that it could be a mitigation. I'm not saying that we should trade it, that we have a setup there, but if we approach these things without thinking about it, then the next days we're just gonna trade counter trend, right? Trade with a wrong bias just because we mark something like a trap, just following the rules blindly without thinking. Okay, what happened here? Not unclose with opposite direction. Okay, just skip it. Okay, so we are sweeping equal half. Okay, now, so we are sweeping a structural point with Asia high with rebalance. So this is the structure we have. And it looks sexy. Okay, let's go to M5. Yeah, there's something wrong with this. 15, 15 looks like it could give us a nice PY. H1. H1 also filled a VG with that, so that's perfect. Yeah, that's a perfect setup. If you're scared of missing it, you can just do this. You're not missing out on much profit. So this would, even this is just 4 pips. H4. Okay, it would actually be an H4 rebalance even, right? H4 liquidity, H4 FPOS, and break-in retest. Yeah, so now you see the difference, right? Between this trade and the one before, where we are trading from H1 liquidity points. This one and this one, for example. This one, although it seems like it's the same, it's not the same. Because, for example, this thing you can only see on H1, this thing you can see on H4 also. It's a clear continuation on H4. So you can enter. Now Asia, then you have Asia high, you have 2 levels, just put a limit and ride a wave all the way to the next swing point. So a trap or a weak low even. If you're scared, you mark the first trap that you can see. So this is M15 trap. Why is it a trap, or why is it interesting? It's a strong low, right? So let's say price could mitigate this. If you want a safe target, this would be an actually perfect target. Question: would you enter without Arbos? If I have a different entry models, then I can enter with a different entry model. Or what's the question? Okay, so this is the chart that we talked about. If I didn't have a boss, I would wait for a bearish candle and then take a mitigation. Yeah, that's actually the best option, right? Just do this. Just take a short term here. And then you did have a breaker structure after that. This would be the first R boss. Right, but let's just say that we did not have an R boss. Huh? Yeah, let's just say we did not have an R boss, then you just take a mitigation from anywhere between this range. From here to here, now we get tucked in, you know, and you just roll the ball. Asia. So we just took out Asia, but honestly, I don't know what I'm looking at. So we're not gonna take any trades there. And bam, price melted. You go to H4. He just broke another higher time frame range. So what does this mean? You have to go to high time frame again, reevaluate the situation and see where we are. So first thing and only thing that I see is that we have equal highs here, equal lows here, but there is no sign of bullishness yet, right? We don't have any big PB. Okay, this could be seen as an F-boss inducement, but now we're ignoring all the structures that happened before, right? So we would prefer to see to match all the ranges here when it comes to size. So I would not even see this as an F-boss. When it comes to levels, okay, wait, I'll get to that later. I'll explain it later. Okay, this is way too far from Asia, actually. Even though it's less than even triple. It's less than 2.5 times of the range, but you can see clearly how far it is, right? Like the gap between here is as big as, I don't know, 3 days of price action. So we definitely don't want to use Asia low here. You want to wait for timing. Nothing happened here. So we started making weak points, if I'm not wrong. Like these two definitely also become weak points. Yeah, like we started making weak points already. It means that we are gonna be bullish soon. But you have to wait for the setup to present itself, right? So what happened here? We just got equal lows. We did not have any high time frame evidence for a buy. This low is obviously shit, right? This a real bad reversal. So you don't want to buy. And sells are a bit risky. Like we are really in bad pricing for that, right? We are basically selling low now. So let's see. The next level. It was here. Okay. Asia low. Uh, okay. This is the same problem as before. Like, yeah, it could be a double sip of the equals, but we are real far away from that. And we are already reacting to a trap below. So a short is not really a good option, in my opinion. Maybe it could have been a short and buy if there was price behavior here. Let's say this, but there wasn't. Okay. We have to trade a low here for that to be price behavior. So obviously not a good buy either. Let's just analyze what happened here. We have some form of trap sweep. It's not really clear with timing. What about H1? But on H1, you don't really see anything. You could take this trade with lower timing confirmations. Let's say with PDC or some more confluences or some different entry model. It could definitely be a short into the shit low. Just following the direction of the market. But yeah, we're in April now. So there is no trade in these last 2 days, unfortunately. But what I wanted to say is that some of you backtested April and sent it, and I've seen the levels here. But one thing, this is not high resistance liquidity, okay? If you have price doing this and this, it's not high resistance liquidity, it's just a normal structural point. Some people mark this as a stop hunt, and then this as high resistance liquidity. Same thing. It's not high resistance liquidity. It's just price sweeping something internal, but it's just a normal structural high and low. One question I see in the chat. It's a double sweep of we close? No, I told you, you're already reacting to a trap, right? Doesn't make sense. Okay, last 5 minutes for questions. Let's go.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I have one question on the 7th of March. You were saying that the buy was not the best, but if I look at the 6th March, there you have marked the buy. And why is the buy on the 6th March good? So why is this level better than like on the 7th?
So you're talking about this buy and which one? And this one?
Let me... No, this one. So
Oh,
why this level is good for you?
oh,
Like if I look at also at the reverses, so here's the middle of it, and like this one, and it looks like a better price to buy. So on this one as this one.
okay. So what would be level for the buy for this buy first?
For what buy? For this buy?
Yeah, for the 7th one.
I've in my backtesting I took it and I've marked it as H1 fair value gap and rebalance, and like a little bit of momentum into the level.
Okay, but the momentum was stopped here. This invalidates the momentum, the wicks, the rejections here. First thing. Second thing, if you use AVG, you should have a good liquidity level. So what would be the good liquidity level? Here, okay. Let's go to M5.
Yeah, it was like M15 high resistance.
So
And then the extreme here on the lowest. But I think it invalidates all the points before, right?
wait, M15. Where is it? Wait, but then you take a loss here, no?
No.
Oh no.
The TP on M5 Airbus after the news.
Oh, okay. I mean, for me, the only difference here is the context. We can take this buy because we are still inside the trap. We are not tapping into something, into some resistance level that could, push the price lower. But the moment price takes the daily structures, you you basically expect a bigger pullback, and you want to trade from the cleanest liquidity level. But the rebalances and FEGs, you want to trade when there is nothing blocking the price, right? Here, price sells from here, but you have to make sure that this low is not taking anything, right? And in this case, the low is just reacting to the trap. But for example, yeah, exactly. But for example, it's like this. You go to H4. If price takes this structural point, for example, we don't really want to take a rebalance like this anymore. It's risky. That's the only difference. So like my first instinct would just be to wait for a clear liquidity level at H1, at least. This was on news, right? Oh, it was okay. Yeah, but even this would be the best level. But as I said, if your reasoning is that we are buying from the trap, that the trap is your liquidity level, then it would be a valid trade. But if you miss this detail, if you miss this trade, and your only thing is rebalance and this liquidity level, then I think it's a weird trade. It's not a good.
But yeah, but on this trade, why you don't expect that the price can go lower, like here on this high resistance or something?
Because you didn't break anything yet. We are still, look, we are compressing the whole time. We're building up the whole time because this whole time we are still inside this big trap. Like we are not this high is not reacting to anything different than this high and this high. See? And the more price builds up, the closer you are to the explosion. Okay, you'll see that in April, but yeah, but it'll just look like this. Here, it's the same thing as we had before. We talked about it. Like if it's a first break structure, it's gonna be a deep mitigation. Second, it's gonna be a bit less, and then like the more we accumulate, the closer we are to the main push. So the difference is this. Okay, imagine it like this. This is a continuational trade. Okay, all the trades here are continuational trades. Even the one this one. But the moment you break out, this trade, this trade has to be a reversal trade. Like it changes the whole context. The only difference between this one and all these trades before is context, nothing else. So you should have all the confluences the reversals should have. And that's it. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Do
you.
you have a lot of girlfriends?
No.
No? Okay, bro.
Distracted.
Locked in, top G. Okay, guys. Oh no. Oh yeah. So next homework is gonna be, wait, what's next call? 20th. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20th. Okay, the next call is gonna be on Sunday, actually. I'll be gone. But we are gonna have a huge call. So homework for the next call is April. If you manage to, try to finish May also. And we'll try to have 2 calls in 1 week. But yeah, April would be nice. Last questions. No questions. Have a good day, Hamza. You're a nice guy.
You too, brother.